The following are basic instructions for the unpacking and setup of your Lenco PANELMASTER Resistance Spot Welder. When you receive your new Lenco PANELMASTER, examine the outside of the shipping cover for any damage or breakage. If everything appears intact, go ahead and cut the straps and remove the outer covering from the unit. Upon removing the outer covering, you will see that the units are shipped with most of the major assembly already done, and in just a few simple steps, your PANELMASTER can be ready for use. Remove the boxes that contain the coolant and the coolant circulator and set them aside. They will be used later. The main unit is fastened with bolts to the pallet for stability in shipping. Remove these 4 bolts and with help, remove the main unit from the pallet. Slide the box out from under the main unit and remove the cable assemblies that are inside. This box is only for shipping and can be discarded. Remove the coolant circulator from the package and slide it into position on the unit. You are now ready to fill the circulator with the 3 gallons of supplied coolant. First, prime the circulator by removing the small red cap on the pump and filling until full. This will take approximately 1 quart. Take all remaining coolant and pour into the fill tube located on the tank. Connect the 2 coolant fittings on the squeeze gun assembly to the corresponding connections on the coolant circulator and plug the power cord from the circulator into the receptacle on the back of the welder. Your Lenco PANELMASTER is now ready for use. With the power switch in the off position, plug the welder into the intended receptacle, connect your shop air, and then turn the power switch to the on position. You should immediately hear the circulator running, and momentarily you should see coolant flowing back into the tank through the fill tube. This is important, as it is the indication that coolant is making it all the way through the system. To operate the weld cycle, first make sure the air regulator is set at 70 psi, and the manual auto switch is on auto. Also, make sure the cable selector switch is on the squeeze type setting. Set the weld time adjustment on 3. Metal to be welded must be ground clean on the outsides where the tips will make contact. Clamp the 2 pieces of metal with vice grips to shunt the weld current. Make sure to use appropriate personal safety gear. Locate the position of the first weld with the top electrode. Press and hold the weld button. The tips will close and automatically weld for the time setting given. To change to the 14-inch extended reach electrodes, make sure the unit is powered off. Loosen the 2 Allen bolts on the castings and remove the existing electrodes. Place the U-shaped electrode in the bottom casting and just tighten the bolt enough to hold it initially. Take the L-shaped electrode and place it in the upper casting. The electrode will not fit all the way against the shoulder. The important thing is to make sure the tips align. Slide the upper electrode out as needed to accomplish this. Once you are confident the electrodes are aligned and straight, firmly tighten the Allen bolts in the upper and lower casting. Disconnect the coolant fitting just behind the welding head and connect to the hose coming from the 14-inch electrodes. Lastly, turn the air regulator up to 120 psi. This will compensate for any pressure loss due to the longer electrodes. You are now ready to weld. The wheelhouse electrodes install in the same fashion as the standard electrodes do. There are no hose connections to change, and the air regulator should be set between 60 and 70 psi. Again, make sure the tips are properly aligned before use. Your Lenco PANELMASTER also comes with a single side weld cable assembly for welding through the top side only. This assembly has very limited use and is only made for a very small number of welds. The metal to be welded must be ground completely clean on both the outside and the inside of the seam that you are welding. First, change the selector switch from squeeze type to single side. Then remove the trigger cord from the squeeze gun and plug in the trigger cord for the single side gun. Clamp the ground clamp firmly in place and set the weld time control on 3. Apply firm pressure and squeeze and hold the trigger. Also, take note that this cable assembly has no cooling. Therefore, 8 to 10 welds is the maximum you can expect before you will need to let the cable cool. For any further questions about your Lenco PANELMASTER, please feel free to contact us.